G'day, welcome back. Today, I'm going to answer the question that I see floating around on a lot of public Facebook forums here in Colombia, and that is what happens if I overstay my tourist stamp? So, if you guys don't know, when you arrive in Colombia, immigration will give you a 90-day tourist stamp, right? If you want to stay another 90 days, you can also do that through a online application. If you want a full tutorial on that, check out the link in the description. So, basically, you can say 180 days per year legally in the country without a visa, okay? But what happens if you exceed the original 90 days without doing an extension, or you exceed the 180 days per year? Do you get fined? Do you get banned from the country? What happens? I'm going to tell you today my personal experience that happened to me when I first got to Colombia, all right? And that will give you a bit of information on what you also can expect. First of all, you're probably thinking, oh, what did you do? Why did you overstay? You're an idiot. Well, let me explain. As I said, 90 days is what you get, right? So I went online to this website to extend another 90 days. I went on day 86, I believe it was, and I tried to do the form and it didn't work. You're going to see why it didn't work in this tutorial that I have, okay? So it didn't work, so I thought, okay, I'll try again the next day. So day 87, I went again, didn't work again. So then eventually on day 88, I realized, hey, maybe if I just don't set it to English and I just keep it in Spanish, I'm going to try and see if it works, because you can change the languages, right? And if you've ever used this website, you know there's a huge glitch when you turn it to English. It basically doesn't submit the form. I realized that. I put it in Spanish. I did the whole thing, submitted on day 88 of 90, okay? What I didn't realize was that it's not counted the day that you apply. I was within the 90 days in my mind. It's actually the day that they reply with an answer of if you can stay or not. So they replied 4 days later, which made it day 92, right? And they said, hey, everything's good, but you applied too late. Now it's day 92, so it's rejected and you're officially illegal. Please go to the immigration center to sort out this issue. So I went to the immigration center. I think I waited in line like 2 hours. And when I got to the front of the line, the guy told me, yeah, it's because we gave you an answer and it was past that original 90 days. So now what you have to do is whenever you leave the country, you have to pay a fine, okay? So I was like, okay, how much is the fine? And they're like, well, depends on how long you stay. I think they told me that every 30 days block that you stay more, it increases. I already had a trip planned to Peru in like 25 days. So I thought, hey, I'll just pay it when I leave. And I also thought, honestly, maybe there's a chance they just don't ask me. So the day came, I went to the airport. I made it all the way to the final step where they're at immigration and they stamp my exit stamp. And they're like, hang on a sec. You are illegal. You need to get out from this spot, go around and find the immigration office, and you need to pay the fine. I was like, oh, shit. In the last second, they got me. But hey, my own fault, right? So I went around, went to the immigration officer, and he said, okay, you've stayed, between 0 and 30 days overstay. So that's going to be 150 US dollars. So I paid him. He put another kind of stamp or wrote something in my thing. I went to immigration and they said, all right, you're good to go. So I had to pay that. And then obviously I've been back and forth in and out of Colombia, like maybe 10 times in the last 2 years since that happened. So they didn't ban me from the country. All they did was they charged me a fine, right? But the fine was only so low because it was only 0 to 30 days. It increases exponentially if you stay for longer and just basically take the piss out of their system and their leniency. It wasn't that bad maybe a couple of years ago, but they've gotten more and more strict because there's been more and more people just overstaying and taking advantage of the rule. A mate of mine, he actually left maybe a year ago and he had to pay about $1,000 in fines. So be very, very careful about this. Do not overstay, because, at minimum, you're going to have to pay 150 bucks. At maximum, you might have to pay whatever they feel like charging you that day. Because if you know anything about Colombian bureaucracy, the fine that you pay can have a lot to do with how the officer is feeling on that particular day. So yeah, as I said, if you're within that original 90 days now and you want to extend another 90 days, I would suggest that you apply as soon as possible, because in many countries, they just do the extension from the date that you apply, right? But not in Colombia. In Colombia, they'll extend it from the last day of your initial 90 days. So whenever you apply, you'll get the full 180. So you might as well apply as early as possible to avoid these kind of issues. If you want to check out the video on how exactly to apply and every step, it's right here. So check that out. You're going to find it very, very useful.